Hi and welcome. Today I will show you something about these. These are the HiFiMan Ananda Nano. It is an open back headphone that has planar magnetic drivers in here. And it's different iteration or a revisited version of the normal Ananda or Ananda Stealth version. This headphone costs around 420 to 460 bucks depending on your location and if it's an offer. Before we start, just a little disclaimer. HiFiMan did send these for review, but it didn't say anything what I can or cannot say. Nothing at all actually other than my own honest opinion about them. And that's what I always do on my channel, and therefore would say let's get right into it and start unboxing them. Alright, so here we are with the Ananda Nano package. It is not a spectacular package, I must say, but it's the same as the other HiFiMan headphones. And on front it just says Neo Super Nano diaphragm and the stealth magnets. And if you turn it, you see some information like the stealth magnets design, ergonomic comfortable headband, and nano thickness diaphragm and the ear pads. On the downside here, you just have a bit of information about the frequency response. Impedance is 14 ohms, sensitivity is 94 dB, and the weight is 419 grams. It also comes with the travel case, apparently. So I would say, let's open it right away. All right, here we go. Okay, so it comes directly with this travel case rather than the foam stand that the other HiFiMan headphones come with currently. So yeah, here you have quite a semi-hard carry case that also has a little band to carry it on. I would say let's open it now. All right, here are the headphones itself. Here is the little cable. I would say let's get them out of here. Here we go. All right, so this is the Ananda Nano. It looks quite nice. It has a metallic texture to it, and the grill seems also to be rounded off. The earpads are quite huge and also soft. It's a pleather material, and inside is a nylon material. The headband is also quite nice. This one here is plastic, but the adjustment works just fine. Alright, that's it pretty much from the headphone. Let's get them back in there. Okay. Here is the cable. So this time we have a longer cable here. This one seems to be 3 meters long. Let's get it out, and So this is the little adapter in case you need it. It's 6.3 millimeter adapter, and here you have the standard HiFiMan cable with the rubberized texture to it. It's nothing special, but also nothing really bad or something, so you can use it. Alright, let's check out now how the Ananda Nano compares to the Ananda Stealth. As you can see, they look quite the same. I mean, the only difference really is that the Ananda Nano feels a bit more plasticky, like the cups are plastic, and this one seems to be having a little metallic texture to it. But otherwise, they really look the same, I would say. There's no really big difference to spot other than the color. Alright, so having unboxed these and been testing them for a while, what can I say about them? So they are looking quite alike than the Ananda Stealth that I previously tested on my channel. The only difference really here is that you have a little bit of a metallic texture to it, and it also weighs a little bit more than Ananda Stealth. It weighs 419 grams and the Ananda Stealth weighs 398 grams. So it's a little bit more heavy, but you don't really feel it, I have to say, because the suspension headband here it distributes the weight quite nicely on my head, so I don't have any hot spots even if I wear it for like a few hours. So that's a really good thing. The other thing is that you also have here metal jocks, so it's not feeling cheaply made or anything like this. Also the mechanism is quite nice. It has a little bit, as I see, if you put it a few times up and down, also the paint will rub off a little bit here. You don't really see it much because this time they decided for the silver color here rather than the black color with, for example, the Sondera, where you really saw the paint rubbing off here. But here it's not really that visible, I have to say. Another thing that you maybe want to consider is that this headphone doesn't really have much of a cap swivel. I didn't find it to be much of a problem. It fit quite nicely still on my head. The only thing you may need to be aware of though is because the ear cups are that big, you may have a little bit of a seal issue if you have a smaller head, like mine, for example, that when your jaw is not that far down, that you may have not the greatest seal, but I didn't find it to be much troublesome. I can imagine if you have a very big head, this headphone will really fit great. And also if you maybe have bigger ears, I cannot imagine your ears touching the driver at any point because they are quite also far down. So that is also a good thing. So this headphone actually has I would say medium to a bit stronger clamp force. It is a little bit more, just a little bit more than the Ananda Stealth. It fits quite securely on my head, so if you're somebody who wants to headbang, it probably will not be an issue here. It also has down here 3.5 millimeter jacks, so quite standard. The cable that comes with it is this time a 3-meter cable, so it's a very long cable. But since this is a standard headphone jack here, you will not have any issues getting a replacement cable. The cable itself is, decent. It's the normal HiFiMan cable that is like rubberized and a bit tangly. So if you want to replace it, go for it. But if you don't really want to replace it, it's fine for you. It's really not an issue. Just a little thing to note maybe is that it seems like that this metallic texture to it seems to be only coated. So I don't know when it happened, but somehow it happened. Maybe I hit the headphone somewhere, I don't know. But the little bit of the texture, the paint here is rubbing off on top of the cup, as you can see here. It's not that visible, but I would personally therefore be careful with the headphone if you don't want this to happen. So keep sharp things away or anything, don't hit it somewhere. Otherwise it may look a bit scratched or something. I think they may have just coated this headphone a little bit, and under this is probably just a normal Ananda Stealth with the plastic cups. So this headphone actually comes with a little carry case. It is a semi-hard carry case that also has a little band to carry it with. If you open it, it's not looking that spectacular. It just has a little band here to keep the headphone secure in here. But otherwise, it doesn't really have any padding or anything like this. So I would still be a little bit careful while carrying your headphone in your backpack or something to not damage it. So let's come to the sound itself now. How did it actually sound? It was quite similar than the Ananda Stealth version. I would describe this headphone though as a quite neutral headphone that has a little bit of an emphasis in the bass area, and it has a little bit more of a sparkly top end. So the bass performance of the Ananda Nano is quite well extended and controlled, and it also punches a little bit harder than the Ananda Stealth, for example. So it was in this regard quite pleasant. So the mid-range here was quite nice and linear and pleasant. It felt a little bit more intimate than for example, the Ananda Stealth, because the Ananda Stealth, there it was a little bit more recessed. But here you have it quite a bit more close to your ear, resulting in quite full and enjoyable and nice textured vocals. So in regards to the treble, this headphone is quite bright, and it's quite a sparkly top end that is very detailed. And here's a little difference between them and the Ananda Stealth. The Ananda Stealth was a little bit more smooth in this regard and a bit more tame. The Ananda Nano is therefore a little bit more sparkly and can bite and be a bit sharp sometimes in this regard, if you're sensitive to this in some songs. You can prevent this a little bit if you take a warmer amp, for example, or you use a little bit of an EQ shelf. I used the Short Mojo 2 with it, and this one was perfect with this headphone. So in regards to soundstage and imaging qualities, this headphone here is very good. It has a very wide and tall soundstage and a good depth to it. If you compare this to the HiFiMan Ananda Stealth, it is quite similar. If I would need to make some difference between these two in regards to soundstage and imaging, is that the Ananda Nano has a little bit of a wider soundstage, while the Ananda Stealth has a little bit of a taller soundstage, but it really is not by much. They're quite similar in this regard. I also tested them in gaming and competitive shooters, and I didn't have any trouble whatsoever pinpointing footsteps. So about drivability, this headphone does have 14 ohms impedance and 94 dB sensitivity. It is not that hard to drive, but I did test it on like just PC output, laptop output, and it did get fairly loud, but it was not, I really had to drive it to the max, so 100% volume, and it was not blasting your ears off. So you're also missing out then on a little bit of bass performance. So I would strongly suggest taking an amp with this headphone. If you don't have already one, maybe look for a bit more of a warm tuned amp, not a neutral bright tuning amp, because of the treble of this headphone. Alright, so let's come to an end now. What would I say conclusion-wise about the HiFiMan Ananda Nano? In general speaking, for the price of 420 to 460 bucks more or less, you are getting a fantastic sounding headphone that has a strong mid-range, great bass performance, nice soundstage, good layering, good imaging. I can see that other companies will have trouble matching the sound performance of this headphone, or in general HiFiMan headphones, because HiFiMan seems to be, for the sound performance they deliver, quite affordable. Of course, we can fight about build quality. I personally didn't have any issues yet. I mean, I used, for example, my HiFiMan Area over 2.5 years daily, at least a few hours a day, and I didn't have any issues whatsoever. And also with all the HiFiMan headphones I had here, I didn't encounter any trouble. So I would say it's fine, the build quality is fine. But if you're somebody, of course, who drops their stuff on the ground, who's a bit careless, and maybe, you need to be a bit more careful then, because also like the paint here, that's rubbing off a bit. But otherwise, I would say it's a fantastic headphone, sound-wise anyways, and also comfortable with the headband here. So I can fully recommend it. And I guess we're finished now. I hope you have liked it. And if you did, please consider hitting the like and subscribe button to support me a bit. And I hope to see you again next time. Ciao, ciao.